speak to us and trying to deliver to us. And the 55% of our communication is basically the body language. And what is exactly body language we discussed last time? That's basically facial expressions, gestures, postures, eye contact, vocal characteristics, personal appearance, haptic space, and chronomics. So we will have a discussion one by one. And I am thinking that maybe I have discussed with you people the facial expressions and the management of the facial expressions. So what I am supposed to discuss and begin the discussion with is basically the gestures. And last time I clarified this idea that gesture is different from posture. Gesture is the movement of the hand. Posture is how you stand. So gesture is usually when we wave off the hand. So obviously it means what? Universally, it means goodbye. Or when you want to draw the attention of a person, so obviously you draw the attention by waving the hand. This is what sometimes even your class teachers do in the physical classroom, that they wave the hand, and this means the teacher is trying to draw the attention of the audience. In gesture, we shake hands, and obviously how we shake hand and to who we shake the hand, obviously this shows most of the time what? The friendship. That's basically a universal gesture. Shrugging of the shoulder obviously indicates what? Whenever somebody shrugs the shoulder, you all definitely understand it means the indifference, or it indicates unconcern, that okay, that's not at all my concern. Pointing index finger, obviously whenever you are speaking, communicating, it's a normal conversation, it is your presentation, whatever it is taken as what? It is as somebody is allegating you or charging you for something. So before you use your index finger, think about it, really you mean it, or it is basically by mistake you did this thing. Thumbs up is an indication of good luck. But we need to understand just one thing. Different cultures have different kind of meanings to all these gestures, postures, and everything. So whenever we are speaking, if you could remember last time we had this discussion about the cultural difference. Culturally, the same thing that is acceptable in my culture, there is a probability in another culture that's not appropriate. If you could recall last lecture, we talked about the facial expression that was a smile. Americans smile freely and they think it's a friendliness, and this is something that they all should do all the time. But Russians think if you are smiling to a stranger, and the meaning that they take out of it is that maybe it is kind of offensive and this is strange. They don't take it positively. Same happens with the gestures also. In the Middle East, nodding the head indicates agreement. In Japan, up and down means yes, indicating that someone is listening. But Americans and Chinese, they nod up and down means yes. And when they shake the hand from one side to another side, this means no. But it's just the opposite in the Indian culture. So obviously, if I am not aware of the cultural difference, there is a probability that when someone is telling me yes, and I am interpreting it as no. So I should know this difference. There is like bowing is criticized or rejected in US, but Japan, obviously, you must have seen Japanese. It's basically a sign of respect and acknowledgement of the rank. Someone who is elderly, obviously, they bow. Thumbs up signal is vulgar in Iran and Latin America. See, I showed you this thumbs up, and it means good luck. But in Iran, if you are giving a presentation or speaking, obviously this is very vulgar, that this is what they consider. OK signal is basically referred extremely offensive in some of the places. American use index finger, the other Germans use little finger, Japanese and Thais use entire hand to point towards anything. Achaji, the next is another very important thing. How do we count? Earlier in our life, we started learning to count from our fingers. And even sometimes, right now, we do this thing when we are counting something. It's very interesting. When Germans start counting, they use what? They start counting with their thumb. Japanese start counting using their fingers, they start with the little finger. Indonesians, they start their counting from the middle finger. So obviously every culture has so many differences are there. Some cultures even consider a handshake route. See, friendliness, handshake means friendliness, but at some places, especially towards an opposite gender, sometimes, especially in the Middle East and in some other parts of the world, it is considered as rude. Maybe a British queen, and you want to shake the hand, obviously that's rude, because that's not considered appropriate. In Middle East, it's always rude to hand an object to another person using a left hand. See, such small gestures, and people may take you and think about you and reflect about you so negatively because you just passed an object to that particular person using the left hand, because they think that everything. हाँ बेटा, जी पूछिए. But when we speak, obviously, it's simply impossible that you are standing and giving a presentation by folding your hands. And if you are doing so, it is highly inappropriate. Because in our conversation, I don't know if you could recall or not, even when I am speaking or any other teacher speaks, or even in normal conversation when you are talking to your friend, we use our hands. Unconsciously you are using your hand. So this means sometimes I don't say, but my hand basically, they are used to communicate. So sometimes just only one handshake, I just want to shake hand with somebody, and till that particular moment the other person was very happy with me. Suddenly this particular gesture made that particular person think about me so offensively. See, so my gestures are important when I'm speaking. I should think about speaking, not just public speaking, but at the same time, the normal conversation. Because in this class, in this basically course, you are going to do lots of other things. Okay? Because we are going to do the meetings and the group discussion, all of these things. Acha ji, then the posture. Posture we have already discussed. What is posture? Posture is how you stand, an attitude, the position of a body. Because see, like if you look at this particular picture, obviously the person who is standing in the middle, obviously that's the best posture. And when we ever look at a poor posture, obviously the what type of idea comes in our mind? This person is shy, this person is not confident. So obviously we don't think of that particular person very positively. So how you stand is really very important. So think about that, how you are standing in different cultures, and not just standing. Obviously, sometimes we rest the feet on the desk. In American culture it's okay, but in Middle East, Asia, Europe, this is considered very offensive. This means you lack the etiquettes, that because you are resting your feet on the desk, it's not at all considered appropriate. Slouching is obviously rude in most of the places, especially in North Europe and Asian countries. It's obviously considered very rude. Putting your hands inside the pocket, it's highly disrespectful. And I just give you one of the ideas while you are speaking, especially giving presentation. Better never put your hand in your pocket. The reason is, the moment you do this thing, it's disrespectful in Turkey, but here in any part of the world, if I'm putting my hand in my pocket, this means I won't have any kind of gesture because my hands are now in my pocket. So I should not lock my hands this way. Sitting with legs crossed is offensive in Ghana. So think about that. If you're in your audience, you find somebody who's from Ghana, so obviously I should not, because it is going to be taken as offensive by them. In Thailand, Cambodia, in Saudi Arabia, showing the sole of the feet while sitting in formal gatherings is offensive. See, we don't even think about these small things, but they are, because if somebody is that much careful about things, obviously going to think about you negatively. Then comes what? Obviously, my gesture, my posture, my facial expressions. Then comes the eye contact. That's highly important. Face-to-face communication is important, and we know this even in our classroom. It is so important that I should maintain the eye contact. But culturally, bete, and it is important because it builds my rapport. People think I am confident. I have the knowledge, and I can create more interest in my conversation. Because if I am not looking, I cannot look into your eyes, obviously, it's so boring, first thing. But culturally, Americans think that you should look directly into the eyes of the other person while you are talking. It's important. Otherwise, they think that you are not honest. But in China, it's a little weird. People frequently avoid direct eye contact with others. In Japan and Africa also, the prolonged eye contact is not just weird, it's offensive, it's disrespectful. In Arabic culture, though, it shows that okay, you are taking interest and you are the person who is of who really has information. People from Africa, Latin America, and Caribbean, they avoid eye contact and think it's not a very good idea because this is how they show the respect towards the other person. So eye contact, so culture to culture, remember this thing that if I should maintain the direct eye contact, is it a good idea or is it not a good idea? Haptics are basically touch. Asians shake hands more than Americans. They don't consider it's not very highly appropriate kind of thing for them. They do shake hands, but not as we Asians do. The next idea is the vocal characteristics. We have already talked about it in the last class. I should not, while I am speaking, too fast, and I should not be too slow. If I'm speaking too fast, obviously my listener cannot retain the information. It's highly probable that my listener is going to miss some of the information, and if I'm too fast, they will miss most of the information. But at the same time, if I'm speaking too slow, so what will happen? You will be like, so
बोर हो
boring.
जाएंगे मैम.
Yes, it's so boring that somebody is speaking so slowly. And you want to ask sometimes, please be quick, you know? Volume is also important. If I'm speaking too slow and too softly, and you will be like making continuous kind of effort to listen to that particular person, 5-10 minutes is okay, but then you will be like, okay, no, not possible. But if somebody is speaking too loudly, again, it sounds like a shout. Can you literally hear somebody for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours who is continuously shouting at you? Obviously not. So this means I need to volume should be according to what? Should be according to the pitch, and pitch should vary up and down should be there according to my emotions. Because I cannot be continuously loud, I cannot be continuously soft. I need to be monotone. I cannot be monotone. I should have a range of the vocals, up and down, low range, upper range, serious tone, humorous tone. According to the content, I should bring variety into my pitch of the speech. And again, obviously, the pause is important because we even discussed last time. Pauses are basically what? The punctuation marks as in the writing. And they help us to understand something important was just said. Our idea is finished. So punctuation, the pauses are extremely important. So you should have pauses at the right places. And obviously, how I articulate means how I speak, how I utter the words. And obviously, for that, pronunciation is one of the key important thing. Sometimes my articulation is like with the right stress, clearly, with the right speed, but my pronunciation is wrong. Or if my pronunciation is not wrong, it reflects some particular part of the country or the region of my own city. So obviously, maybe it's not the standard pronunciation. So before presentation, bete, always go through the pronunciation and come up with the right pronunciation. Otherwise, it is basically you are going to destroy your own impression. People think negatively if you don't have a command over the right pronunciation of the words. Personal appearance. Okay, till now what we have discussed, the gestures, postures, things means that we need to learn, isn't it? So gestures, postures, facial expressions, we learn all of them, that how to control them, how to sound not monotone, how to sound something interesting. But with a personal appearance, sometimes we really think that, okay, this is not at all important, but this is highly important. You are not supposed to like go and start buying the branded clothes, but something that is appropriate for the occasion. Remember, we discussed last time, if you are going to a wedding, how your family members know this thing, that if you are going to a wedding or you are going to office or you are going to someone's funeral, through your attire, to your how you basically look. Obviously, you are going to someone's funeral or wedding. You don't basically just wake up from your sleep and to go there. Obviously, you choose that what you should wear and how you should look, because it really plays an important role. Maybe my content is very good, maybe how I speak is excellent, but sometimes how I look, people don't take me seriously, because according to my job and according to the place where I am, I'm not appropriately dressed. So it is important that how I appear, and it's not just the dress, but even my grooming also, my hairs and whatever I am, extra things that I am wearing, like the jewelry, the tattoos, the body piercing. Don't have too much jewelry when you are going for formal, because we are in the context of business are discussing these ideas in this classroom. So overuse of jewelry is basically like you are trying to distract your audience. Instead of listening to you, there is a high probability they look at you. Tattoos, if somebody in our culture, we don't find too many people with tattoos, but if there is a tattoo, remember this thing, it shouldn't be visible. It should be like if I'm wearing a shirt, so obviously I should take care. If there is a tattoo, I wear a shirt with with full sleeves, so it's not visible. Same as with the body piercing, not too many kind of piercing, it really distracts again, and it shows like my immature kind of personality. However, usually like culture to culture, this also vary that how I am dressed up. Okay, with Hitler tattoo, yes, exactly, and we wear jewelry and the jewelry and the chains and all such thing. Yes, two chains. Okay, nice. Men dressing. Now, obviously, this is the men's dressing. This is the men's business casual. This is the men's casual. But again, from your profession to profession, even your dress varies, because in software houses, usually people are like men's casual most of the time. Women, again, culture to culture, this thing vary. Space, yes, this is also important, because I've observed sometimes people don't know that there is that while I am talking to somebody, I should maintain a distance with the person. If I am in the intimate zone, means my parents, my own child, my siblings, obviously that's the intimate zone, 1 to 1.5 feet, it's okay. There is a personal zone, 1.5 to 4 feet, special the social zone, 4 to 12 feet, and public zone is 12 feet, and so on. So
मैम इन जोन्स का मतलब क्या है?
zone का मतलब ये है कि like assume this thing now while we are talking to each other. Obviously, if when I talk to my own son, so obviously we could be close. But if I'm talking to somebody in a social zone who is like my colleague, so there should be at least a distance of 4 to 12 feet while we talk or sit. Otherwise, it is not considered very appropriate. Even culture to culture, this zone is basically varies. But usually, universally, this is the distance that we consider, that while I'm talking to somebody, if I'm even in the office room of someone, I should maintain this much distance from the other person. Okay, this is important.
ओके मैम.
Thing. Acha ji. The next is the chronomics. What is chronomics? When we receive invitation for the wedding, when we receive invitation for the meeting. If it is meeting, obviously Pakistani Standard Time, usually we should be there on time. But if it is like the wedding, it's written 9 o'clock, the arrival like at least be 10:30, 11:30, depends on the people. So we are late. So this means we use the time according to the occasion, people, social context, all these things. Usually people consider, especially in Europe, you should be on time. But last time I was watching a documentary and I learned this thing as far as gathering.
Time is late.
On time is exact on time. Means if it is 12 o'clock class, you are on exactly at 12. In time means 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier, or 15 minutes earlier. That depends. Okay, so in time is before time. On time is is grammatically on time is perfect. In time means before time I should be there. Like in meeting, usually we consider that I should be in time. So meeting could start exactly, cannot be started on time, है ना? So that's why. वापस से
अब ये मुस्तफैन कर रहा है, मैं बता रहा हूँ ये मुस्तफैन कर रहा है।
अच्छा, तो कोई बात नहीं,
मुस्तफा नहीं
नेक्स्ट
करो
टाइम
यार।
से बेटे जो है जूम में क्लास
क्या
कर
हो गया?
लेंगे।
कौन कर रहा है फजूल में?
कोई इशू नहीं है बेटा। मैं जूम के अलावा भी ये है कि आई एम कंटिन्यूसली टेकिंग दी स्क्रीन शॉट्स ऑफ हु द पीपल आर राइट नाउ इन द क्लासरूम। आई विल कॉन्टेक्ट द आई so the time space is important. ठीक है बच्चे? So and then obviously look at this picture. So it's quite explained one that how everything basically reflects. Even I'm going to explain some of them. Like the raised eyebrow is the discomfort, so it signals this thing that I'm not okay right now. My voice goes up and down, shows my interest or the disinterest attitude. Even like if they are laughing with you, they are probably into you. If somebody is having a smile, but this smile you detect that it's a fake smile. How do you detect a fake smile? Have you ever smiled at a child? Most of the time you fake the smile just to be social with them, and there is always a lack of like crinkles around the eyes, and this shows basically a fake smile. So these are few of these advices. Okay, you can go through it. Okay. Then okay, this is important. The negative body language, and because sometimes we are not aware of this thing and we do this thing. Like if I'm sitting in a social gathering where people really take care of the etiquettes, and especially the formal gatherings, we should not check time. The moment I do this thing, it is considered as I'm not at all interested in this meeting and I'm not listening to you. So checking the time is a body negative body language. Looking at the ground again, that's me. This shows signals not interested. Touching your face continuously, this also shows that I'm not at all interested in this kind of thing and I'm so much into my own self. Picking at something, this is so disgusting. Tapping is means that I am right now worried about something, thinking about something else. Should not be too close to someone, objects to something. Fake smile, over blinking, fake smile, both of them shows that shows I'm not at all interested. At the same time, I'm faking, I'm a negative person. It really gives signals a very negative kind of vibe. So think about it. It's very important that what you speak and how you as well present yourself. So your content are important, but as well as your image is also very important. And how do you make your image? Image is basically your appearance, clothing, grooming, manners, etiquettes, behavior, communication effectiveness. Clothing is part of your appearance, but you need to be groomed also, that you can select that what to wear at what particular occasion. This is basically grooming. I should know this thing. My manners, how should I talk, how should I shake my hands, all these things are my manners, basically my etiquettes also. Like one by one if I go through it, some of them are yes, here See, you brand yourself, you're a complete package. So you should know that when I refer to the image and appearance, can you see on your left hand side the very first column is about image and appearance? It's basically the overall appearance of your product.
नहीं मिस की वॉइस नहीं आ
नहीं
रही।
आ रही, नहीं आ रही।
किसी को आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
तुम्हारी आ
हाँ।
रही है, मिस की नहीं आ रही।
हाँ, मैम की नहीं आ रही। सही है, ओके। मैंने कहा पता नहीं, शायद मेरा खराब हो गया मोबाइल।
मुझे भी यही लगा
तला
था।
तला बेटा देख के बोला करो,
आई
फजूल
एम
में तुम
सॉरी
लंबी कर रहे हो।
मुस्तफा, तफरी कर रहा था यार। अच्छा सॉरी सॉरी। सलमान, अब तुम्हारा क्या होगा?
क्यों भाई, क्या हुआ?
चैट पढ़ी है तुमने?
नहीं।
चलो कुछ नहीं होता, पढ़ लेना।
कौन सी चैट? वॉइस वाली?
यार वॉइस चैट कैसे पढ़ते हैं?
वॉइस वाली या कौन सी?
यार ये जो अभी जो मीट की जो चैट है,
अच्छा अच्छा, एक मिनट।
कोई 7 मिनट पहले की चैट है।
तला क्या कर रहा है यार? तला मस्ती नहीं करो ना।
मैम गई क्या?
यार मेरे पास से भी चले गई, ये बलोच कमीना है ना।
हाँ मेरे ख्याल में गई है यार। मैं
तो हम भी जाते हैं, फिर नमाज का टाइम हो रहा है।
हाँ यार चलो वैसे ही। अबे यार मजा ही नहीं आ रहा ऑनलाइन पढ़ने में।
अभी क्लास में कौन सा आता
इसमें
था?
तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
अबे मजा तो थोड़ा पढ़ तो लेते थे, यहाँ पे
उमर
तो
जो
समझ
है
ही
वो
नहीं आ रहा।
रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है।
उमर को
अच्छा।
तो
अबे
काम
सीन
नहीं
क्या है,
रिकॉर्ड।
पूरा
उमर
सेमेस्टर
को
ऑनलाइन
काम
चलेगी
नहीं।
क्या क्लासेस?
भाई मुझे
हाँ
तो यार
उमर
ये
को
पूरा
पहले
कर ही
निकालो
नहीं
यार
सकते।
सब।
पूरा
फाइ-
सेमेस्टर तो नहीं होती यार।
यार अगर
ये
खाली खाली
हो सकता
फाइनल
है ना
बोले
यार,
तो
मेरे
ये
को
हो
नहीं हो
सकता
रहा
है,
ना।
क्योंकि खाली जो फाइनल है ना, वो यूनिवर्सिटी आप आके दे सकते हो, सिर्फ 6 दिन ही तो आने हैं।
नहीं नहीं क्यों आ सकते भाई?
क्या मतलब? ओसामा तुझे
अबे
कुछ
डी
नहीं होगा,
ई
तू
बिल्कुल
टेंशन
समझ
मत ले।
नहीं आ रही, बाकी
मुझे
तो थोड़ा
समझ
थोड़ा आ
तो
रहा
आ
है,
रही
डी
है,
तो समझ ही नहीं आ रही।
समझ तो
बलोच
आनी है।
तुझे क्यों नहीं
ऑनलाइन
समझ
क्लास
में
तो
आ
में
रही?
घंटा फाइनल होंगे हमारे।
अबे डीएलडी नहीं आ रही।
भाई ना, मैं यही बोल रहा हूँ, जो हमारा समर ब्रेक शेड्यूल्ड है वही होगा।
यार
अटेंडेंस
सब
की
एक
छूट, अटेंडेंस की छूट दे यार फिर। इस तरह तो
अबे हाँ
क्लासेस नहीं हो
अटेंडेंस तो ले
सकती है,
ले
कभी
या
इंटरनेट
छोड़
का
दे।
मसला हो।
अबे यार देखो, ऑनलाइन के अंदर एक ये भी मसला है, पता चला सर ने बोला बेटा आपकी क्लास मिस हो गई, संडे को 11 बजे रख ली मैंने क्लास।
अबे सर को हाँ हाँ संडे या सैटरडे।
अबे हाँ
अभी
ना, किसी भी
अभी जे
सोचो।
सेक्शन की पीएचडी क्लास रात में 11 बजे हुई
अबे
थी।
हमारी तो
अभी तो
पीएस लैब है कल 3 घंटे की।
कल किसकी?
हाँ
अबे 3 घंटे की नहीं होगी भाई, क्या होगा
सब एक
पागल है?
हमारी तो एक
अबे
घंटे की हुई है बस।
यार ये
होगी
बहुत
तो ना।
बहुत गलत सीन्स है यार। ये
सब
टीचर्स
एक
को बहुत खुली छूट
अबे
मिल जाएगी ना।
इसको
सब
मेल
एक
करो, डायरेक्टर वगैरह को मेल करो यार इसका।
अबे नहीं हो
अबे
पाएगा।
प्रोकॉम के पैसे भी निकल गए शर्ट के यार आज से।
अबे यार तू 500 रुपए किस
प्रोग्राम की
पे रो
पड़ी
रहा है?
यहाँ पे
मुझसे ले ले यार
1 लाख
अबे
बची।
प्रोकॉम छोड़ो यार, समझ नहीं आ रहा है
बलोच,
कुछ।
मुझसे पैसे ले ले तू।
असद से पैसे ले ले।
मेरे भी
हाँ तुम्हारे नौकर
यहाँ
बैठे
पे
हैं ले ले।
यहाँ पे एक
मेरे भी
लाख
ले
के
ले
ऊपर
यार,
फीस दी हुई है। इसी को
मेरे भी
लेना
ले ले।
पड़ेगा।
अबे इनको बोलो पॉइंट के पैसे वापसी करो भाई।
अबे पॉइंट के पैसे तो वापस लो
सारे
ये।
पैसे वापस भी दे
हाँ,
रहे हैं
हाँ
सब लोग।
पॉइंट के पैसे भी तो
हाँ
है।
पॉइंट तो ला नहीं रहा कहीं। हाँ मुस्तफा ने
यूनिवर्सिटी की
क्या
भी लो,
बोला था?
गूगल मीट के पैसे दे दो बस।
इनको बोलो पॉइंट के पैसे वापस करो।
भाई वो लोग बोलेंगे सेमेस्टर ही कैंसिल कर रहे हैं हम लोग।
हाँ तो ठीक है, सीधा थर्ड में ट्रांसफर करें।
मत करो ना, मत करो।
ये कौन किक कर रहा है?
तला चैट में तो कुछ भी नहीं है, समझ में नहीं आया क्या किसकी बात कर रहे हो।
यार मिस से बात करते हैं, मिस को भी थोड़ा वो बताओ कि नहीं हो सकता, ऐसे कवर नहीं हो सकता, तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा, बार बार के
अबे
बोले
हाँ
तो
ना यार
लेक्चर ही जा रहा है।
जून जुलाई
भाई
में
मैम
पढ़ा
को
लें
कैसे
बल्ले।
समझाएं, हमारे कोई टीचर हो जो मतलब कि हाई फाई लेवल के हो या। अबे सुनो सुनो सुनो, मैं सर रफी भाई हम लोग साइन करवा लेते हैं ना।
हाँ साइन करवा लेगा सर।
भाई देखो यूनिवर्सिटी
यार अब साइन भी कोई नहीं
भाई
करता,
साइन करो,
मेल के जरिए
साइन
होता है
करो,
यार।
स्कैन करके भेज दो।
भाई देखो जब सब अपने पास से इमेज भेजोगे ना बहुत सारी,
यूनिवर्सिटी
फिर
खुलेगी
होगी
नहीं
बात,
जून,
ऐसे नहीं।
यूनिवर्सिटी तो नहीं खुलेगी, जून जुलाई को पढ़ा ले, जान थोड़ा है हमारी भी।
हाँ तो
भाई
एक
जून
लिंक
जुलाई
भेज
में
दो
करो कोई।
सारे
जून जुलाई में नहीं पढ़ा सकते क्योंकि
अबे
वो
फिर
होता
अभी कहाँ
है,
पढ़ाएंगे
समर
ऐसे
होता
भी
है। ऑनलाइन का
अबे
मेल